All right, and here is knowledge, the first of the 7 modules. And it's really, we begin with knowledge. And what I'm wanting to do in this short video is to share with you some perspectives that I've discovered in my search of wanting to help people, to help you to understand the need to, to practice. It's all about the practice. Whatever you practice, you'll create in your life. If you practice excellence, you'll become excellent. You'll become better. If you practice to not pay attention and relax and just go with the flow, you're not going to develop strength. You're not going to develop an awareness of what's happening. And there are fundamental habits that cause your abilities to increase, that cause the quality of your life to improve. And I humbly believe that these 3 truths are going to give you a perspective on life to remind you to start your practice. Let's jump in, okay? I'm going to look at these scales here. So we're going to go share screen. And so here are our 7 modules, all right? And so we're going to cover knowledge. And to teach knowledge, and there will be more screens and pictures that will be coming. But this first video, this first screen right here, when I get there, are the 3 truths. And this page is jam-packed with information. I humbly believe if you studied this and memorized these and applied it to your daily life, it will cause you to understand. Now, understanding will not change your life. Again, it's the practice. But let's look at what we want to understand from a macro perspective. What's happening in your life and mine? And based upon what's happening, why do some people struggle with maybe their physical health or their relationships or their finances, and yet they do good at other things? And these 3 perspectives will enlighten you to see what's happening. All right. So there's 3 perspectives, and the reason I said a perspective is that to understand what's happening, so you have the ability to choose, you need to look at it and take a perspective and then observe it over and over again. And what you want to do is you want to be able to re-verify at every moment of life that what you believe is correct. Because, whenever we have limiting beliefs, which cause us, for example, to believe maybe I can't do this, or I'm bashful, or I can't help but I blurt out things because I don't have self-control. Those are limiting beliefs that are limiting your ability to adapt. So what we want to do is we want to have a perspective to look at your life and everybody's life, to be able to see and observe what's happening, so we understand, so we have the opportunity and the inspiration and the motivation to practice, to change our lives. So the very core perspective that always will show you what's happening relative to your health and happiness is your needs and desires. You see, we're a living organism, and science has the sciences of sociology, which is just us interacting as groups of people, which is what we are, right? We're a social creature. I mean, it starts with the family, mom and dad, or mom or dad, and then siblings, right? And that group of people is a little small group, a small society, right? A little group, family group, right? And then as you interact with friends and coworkers, and these are more groups of people, right? And that's a society of people. And that interaction between those people is part of our needs and our desires to have positive interaction. Well, if you just think about your life and everybody's life, and you realize that when you when you condition yourself to fulfill your needs, you're not going to be sick. You won't be sick. Now, you do have the need to avoid large, intense, toxic substances, which will make you sick really quick, right? A lot of times people get sick because they're just not eating well enough. and physically they get sick. Or, again, relationships with people, maybe they just haven't developed through practice their communication skills with themselves as well as others because of their growing up in the family environment that they had. Maybe their communication wasn't effective. Maybe the parents weren't taking care of themselves. And so the children learn to ignore and neglect some aspect of their life. So when you think of yourself scientifically, right? You're a living organism and you have needs. And when you can condition your mind to take care of your needs as a natural way of who you are, right? And you don't have to be perfect, but you just want to make sure you do enough so you are healthy, right? And so when you take care of your needs, you're healthy. When you take care of your desires, you become happy. Now, of course, if you take care of all your desires and you neglect your needs, then of course, then you end up with maybe you're happy for a little bit, but then you're unhappy because you hurt, because you have been neglecting your needs. So there's a balance between need and desire, right? And if we go down to the next point here, and this is what a hit is about. A hit is about habits and abilities. And so our needs, they happen over and over again, right? Every 24 hours, there's a new set of needs for moving around and eating effectively and communicating effectively and sleeping at the end of the day. These needs recur over and over again because life cycles, right? And to complete a task, to fulfill a need or desire, requires that something happen. And it just means that you have to be aware of this time in your life, this need that needs to be attended to. And you want to develop the habit of being aware, of having your thoughts cause you to be aware of something and then go do or say and think whatever you need to fulfill that need and desire. You see, that makes it really simple, super simple, right? Hey, there's something you got to think and do. And if you do that, you'll be healthy or happy, right? And if you do both, then you're healthy and happy. You get to enjoy abundance, right? Now, to complete the task, there's ability, right? A hit, habits and ability, right? So to complete task, to enjoy a life of abundance, you have to develop your levels of ability to be able to complete these tasks. Now, the main thing, the exciting part of this first column is that your brain's potential. When you strengthen your brain to be present and clear and acquire detailed information about areas of your life, that taking care of your body, relationships, your financial reality, all of a sudden you'll have an abundance of information, a strong mind that's grounded, aware, and naturally, as a flow of who you're choosing to program and condition and strengthen yourself to be, you'll end up enjoying abundance. And wherever there's stress in your life, wherever there's pain, it just means that your brain to this point has not been conditioned to be clear and aware and attend to that task. If you look at it from that way, it makes health and happiness really simple and it makes it scientific. You're just going to look at your life and you're going to make a good choice because you look and from a perspective where you can look and re-verify. If there's something new that has happened in your life that's not positive, it means that something new has come up and it's another need or desire. As we grow older, right? Things change and you just need to become aware of it, identify the task, and then condition yourself to remain aware and attend to it on time with the highest level of ability, right? And so practicing positive habits of ability, that's of course how you create health and happiness and abundance. Now, the second perspective is amazing when you think about this, and this is where the lights turn on, okay? And let me jump over here to the third truth, which is really the most profound truth, whether human beings are present, you and me and everybody else, or not. The most fundamental truth is that everything's made of energy. You could say God is present, omnipresent if you want, if that makes you feel better. And by the way, adding the word God in place of energy will give you a powerful an empowerment that you're thinking of there's something out there that's bigger than you that you can connect with, right? And human consciousness can do that. And so using symbols and words like God, and mission and purpose, right? These will cause your brain to connect and be more effective. So don't be afraid of saying the word God or energy, right, when you're communicating. But the real powerful, most profound truth that's always present is everything's vibrating, because that's what energy does, and it moves around in predictable cause and effect cycles. I mean, the same way it cycles, if something happens yesterday, means the same thing's going to happen today, except it's 24 hours later. So if anything else has changed in the environment, it's going to be a little bit different. But it's a powerful thing to realize that everything cycles. If you mess up today, don't worry about it. You got tomorrow, right? Just condition your mind between yesterday and today will be better. It's a very powerful truth to realize. And the most important thing that's moving around in predictable cause and effect cycles is your thoughts. That's the central truth, right? The first truth, we begin with need and desire, because that's what determines health and happiness. Fulfill your needs, you won't be sick. Fulfill your desires, and you'll be happy, as long as you also take care of your needs, right? But now the most amazing thing to realize as a human being, which is what we are, and we're at the top of the food chain, okay? We're at the top of the food chain. Why? Because of our brain, because of our superior consciousness, our ability to process large amounts of information, like this information I'm sharing with you now. This is what makes us the top of the food chain, the ability to live on this planet and keep everything in perspective. Animals, well, we'll move them over here, right? Water, well, let's build a dam and let's have the water come this way. Or we need food, let's create a large farm and make farms. We need electricity, let's make electricity here, or computer chips, or motors, or airplanes. This is the intellect that we have, and you had that intellect to develop. But the thing to realize is that based upon your life to this point, thoughts are happening. They never stop turning around inside your head. And when you realize that, and all of a sudden you realize, well, hey, these thoughts are going to be going inside my head 24/7, whether I want it or not. I can stop it for a little bit, but I can't stop it forever. I can stop it for a couple of breaths maybe, but then before you know it, they're going to start going. And what are they going to do? They're going to cycle what is a reflection of your experiences to this point in your life and wherever you are in that moment. It's a huge truth to get. And if you want to change something in your life and you realize that inside your head, those thoughts are moving based upon your life to this point, but you can change those thoughts. You can change what your thoughts do by conditioning them, by practicing for your thoughts to be aware, positive, and effective. To be aware of what you want in your life, and to be able to realize what are the distractions that are causing me to not attend to this need and desire, and then condition your mind to be on purpose and just naturally take care of your life. You can program yourself to be on purpose all the time. It takes a lot of work, but the work is the fun part. The work is the fun part that gives meaning to our life, because our meaning is about being healthy and happy as a human being. And if there's a God, God wants us to be happy and to live a wonderful life. Right? That's a powerful thing to realize when you start thinking about the energy of life, and if you want to take it scientifically, and all of a sudden you go, okay, well, everything's made of energy, and if there is a God, God put it here. There's that connection you have, that opportunity to add more purpose, more love, more meaning to your life if you choose to. You don't have to. You can condition your mind to work scientifically without the access or the connection with the potential presence of a supernatural being. I personally don't want to make that supernatural being sitting on a big throne and having an old man with a beard, white or black or brown, whatever it might be, right? Maybe it's a woman. Right? But the thing is, though, is that, again, that adds meaning. If you do your affirmations, and I hope you do your mantras all the time to condition your mind to be effective. If you just say that God's wealth is circulating in my life, a powerful phrase, by the way, The energy of life circles and cycles inside your head, inside your body, and inside everywhere you go on planet Earth. Things are cycling. And what cycles today cycled yesterday, and it's going to cycle tomorrow. And if something big happens, it's going to change the cycles, but then you know what's going to happen? It's going to cycle again after that big event happened. So when you condition your mind to be aware of those cycles, to ignore and neglect the cycles that are distracting you from doing what? Attending to need and desire. Attending to need and desire. So you get that these thoughts are happening inside your head. You realize the criticalness, the absolute necessity for you to live a good life is you have to condition your mind. And even if you had a tough childhood, and maybe have fears and defenses because you don't feel comfortable allowing people to come into your life because you were hurt as a child, or maybe you have a childhood where you didn't eat well and you have an overweight body and it's pain and has arthritis, and all of those things you can change. If your finances are poor and you haven't been taking care of your finances, you haven't developed your skill to make money, let alone save and invest it, you can change that with practice. And the practice becomes meaningful and powerful that can change your life, right? So, of course, as I said, your thoughts flow determines if you attend to need and desire. And the HIT, of course, empowers you to become aware and improve your life by conditioning your mind, conditioning your thoughts to flow effectively, to cause your behavior to be effective, and your words and your actions to help you create a life of abundance, right? Why not program yourself? Now, and I said this earlier, negative experiences from your past are negatively impacting you today. That's a huge point to realize. If there's something in your life that you want to change for any reason, bored, not interesting, or more realistic, stressful, painful, fearful, angry, it just means that was caused by an experience in your past. An experience in your past. It is what it is, right? It happened. It's there. It's part of your life. You can make that pain, you can make that fear and that anger go away with practice. Love and forgive who's ever hurt you, because whoever hurt you, they were doing the best they could. They were probably hurt in their life. And so many of us have those childhood experiences that have impacted and limited our ability to enjoy the most amount of abundance in our life. And when you're able to condition your mind to love and forgive and then flow positive and effective thoughts that cause your skills, identify your levels of ability, and then choose to practice to get better and better, and you'll enjoy more and more health, happiness, and abundance. Now, if you want to add some humor here, now this is a humorous point. And by the way, this humorous point impacts, I would guess, the majority of human beings on planet Earth. We're somewhere around 7 billion, it might be 7.5 billion by now, but however many people on planet Earth, I would say more than half of them are ignoring their thoughts, which makes them ignorant of the only thing that can make them be aware and to become effective, right? Because they're ignoring the thing that's happening inside their head that's causing them to neglect their needs and desires. All right? And this is so important that caring is how we survive. Our parents care for us so that we learn to live, right? We care for ourselves so we can be healthy and happy. Neglecting instead of caring is the cause of pain and negative, anything and everything negative. So caring for your life is the only way for you to enjoy a cared for life. Now, of course, you could connect with somebody, marry somebody, and let them take care of you, right? And you want to have that shared responsibility because there's so much to do to take care of your life, right? But caring for your life at the very core of your affirmations and your conditioning of your consciousness so you can live a life of abundance is about conditioning yourself to take care of your life. Take care of your life and take care of it magnificently in a way that makes you feel good about yourself. You have a good self-esteem. Self-esteem is such a powerful psychological principle. It's just the reflection of who you think you are from A to Z, right? And if you take care of a couple of areas of your life and you leave one out, it means your self-esteem is good, except here. So what do? You condition your mind to take care of that too. Practice being aware and doing the things that are difficult now and maybe even uncomfortable. But you break through. Why? Because you're determined to live a better life in whatever way you want to change your life. It's a choice you make. It's a decision to cut off what you were doing before and choose to do something different because you want to, because you will benefit. And everybody you love and care for will benefit because you'll be healthier and happier, right? So that's the three perspectives, right? We have needs and desires. That's the starting point of pain versus pleasure, of happiness versus sadness, of love versus hate. Attend to your needs and desires, and you'll create a good life, right? But your thoughts are going on inside your head, and they cycle and they move in direct response to your life experiences to this point. So you can change it with practice, right? And know that everything in life is cycling. Everything, the days, the nights, the weather, your body, right? Everything is cycling. So when you know that those cycles are happening, and you have this amazing, incredible brain inside your head that you can strengthen to be grounded in a clear purpose of what you want, which is to fulfill as many of your needs and desires as you possibly can with the highest level of ability possible, right? And that's what is possible for you. And these three truths, looking at life through a perspective that causes you to be able to come back and verify over and over again what's happening. Well, I was thinking this and doing that, and this was my result. But something changed, and now I'm getting this, and I don't want this, right? I want to have more energy, and so I got older, and I have less energy, right? Or my relationship with this person went bad because I messed up and I said this, and what can I do, right? Develop your skills to communicate more effectively. Or your finances, you realize you've been making money, but you haven't been saving because your father and your mother didn't save, so you didn't know to save because you weren't conditioned to save. Condition your mind to save, condition your mind to communicate effectively, and condition your mind to take care of your body. And when you do that, you'll enjoy more abundance in your life. In these perspectives, I hope that they inspire you to realize, whoa, let's get to practicing. Let's get to working. Let's enjoy the work. Let's find pleasure in doing everything we can to make ourselves naturally be the best version of ourselves that we could imagine ourselves to be. And it might take years to get there. It's certainly going to take weeks or to experience some significant change, although as soon as you start to make progress, you're going to be happy. Don't worry about perfection. Just make progress, right? And wherever you are, accept it. See it as it is, and then say, how can I get better, right? And then the perspective of looking scientifically, just identifying thought, behavior, impact on my life, right? What's possible? Well, I could do this thought and this behavior and I'll get a different result. That's the simplicity of breaking it down to just need, desire, thought, behavior, cycling. The third perspective, everything's cycling. I hope this helps you. I hope it does. Now, across the bottom is something that is amazing. As we go deeper into this, as you start to interpret scientifically biology, the single cell that generates life through the metabolic process. All right. The metabolic process is how life happens for us and other animals inside of the cells of all animals, from turtles and ants to people. There's this cell complex. There's trillions of cells inside of us. And this process of generating energy, it takes in fuel, it consumes the fuel, burns it, and then there's leftover waste, just like a lumber in your fireplace, and you burn the wood and you end up with ash. The important thing to realize about your biology is that you need to clear away the ash. If you don't clear away the ash, what happens to your fireplace? It fills up, so pretty soon you can't even put wood in there to burn it because you haven't cleared away the debris of the process of being alive. And on a very simple note, the human body, there's so many products that are processed. And there's a clear distinction between whole foods, which are not processed, which grow out of the ground, by the way, God put here, right? Nature put here. And when they grow out of the ground, they're full of nutrients that our body needs, right? We developed here on this planet, or we're created on this planet. And that food that is whole, that came from Mother Earth, right? That's what gives us the nutrients. But the stuff that we enjoy and we taste good and are advertised for us and we love them, right, are processed. Breads, meats, dairies, cookies, whatever, potato chips, whatever you like. It didn't grow out of the ground. And through the process of creating them, the nutrients have been smashed or cooked out of them. Nutrients, the precious nutrients inside of food, if you make it too hot during the cooking process, it dies. The nutrients that make you healthy die because they're cooked. They're made too hot, or they're mashed and turned into bread, which we love bread. Isn't bread tasty? A salad versus a bread. My wife and I have either a salad, which is really delicious because I put meat and cheese in there, and then I put a little Roquefort dressing too, along with my balsamic dressing, and it tastes delicious and it's super healthy. Only has meat and cheese and then a bunch of vegetables, right? Which is good for my body, right? It's 64. You add a little bread, cut back, the bread tastes good, right? Add a little mayonnaise, a little mustard. Those are processed elements. The difference, though, a lot of people, when I was a young man, my lunch would be 2 pieces of white bread or 4 pieces of white bread, mayonnaise, piece of ham, piece of cheese, and that was my lunch. Yes, I had an appendectomy. My appendix was removed in my 30s because I didn't eat enough whole foods. All of the organs inside your body, God put here. They evolved here. They have a purpose. Western medicine, unfortunately, what do? Chop it out and remove it. It's sick. Well, why don't we just cleanse it with whole foods, cut back on processed foods? If you can, maybe eliminate the processed foods for a short amount of time. Guess what happens? Your body will heal. That's biology. And there's more to cover, but that's a huge part of it. If you're not feeling well, if you're tired, if anything about your physical body isn't good, make it simple. Whole food versus processed foods. Increase whole foods, reduce processed foods to whatever level you need based upon your physical condition, and watch your health improve. Then you got to exercise, right? Strength comes from strenuous movement, right? That's your biology. We can go into it deeper on another video. Psychology, remember your childhood experiences. And are your brain doing what? Taking care of need and desire, how that functions. It's a natural flow. It's simple to understand when you just make it positive, neutral, or negative, and is it causing you to take care of your life or not? That's psychology at the most simple level, right? And it's in a social setting, so how you interact with others and how they've treated you is how you're going to want to think about yourself and treat others. And there's a lot of hostility and anger and hate in this world because inside of so many homes on the planet, people have grown up with parents that were doing the best they could, but they weren't doing very good because their parents didn't do well. And as the evolution, even though God put us here, but the evolution of our knowledge with science, with a hit to help us strengthen our mind to become aware and more effective faster because we use technology. That's what's here. And that's what can make our psychology function better. So that biology and that psychology are the inner habitats of your life. That's where you habitate in. You can't leave your thoughts or your body. I mean, some people say they leave their body, but they have to come back, right? I don't know if they ever do or not. That's like falling fun if you could do it. But to realize you live your life inside your thoughts and your body. Take care of them. You only have one. In the future, maybe you'll get a bionic one, and get to take over, but that's not here yet, right? And then outside, people and the cities and the towns that we interact with as we use money to exchange for goods and services. And it all cycles about. With physics, there's laws of physics, right? There's gravity and entropy. Those are opposing forces, right? Gravity is what happens when something's pulled in because there's a large object, right? The sun keeps the planets circling around, right? And entropy is the opposite. Is when you have an object and there's nothing holding it in, it'll spread out. It'll disperse. Those are two opposite forces that are always in play here in time and space of your life and mine. And then there's the three laws of motion. An object either still or in motion will stay still or in motion until acted upon by an outside force. Now, of course, that very seldom impacts our life because our life is cycles inside. So if you say moving in a cycle, you might say cycling. That's why our thoughts cycle in what we thought yesterday until it's impacted by something different that causes it to change today. This information could change yours when you realize the need to condition yourself, right? That's the first law. The second law is for each action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? That might be law 3, by the way. That means whenever you hit something, you're going to feel the hit yourself also, right? And if you punch something, your hand's going to get hurt, right? So that's the equal and opposite reaction. That's why when somebody treats you rudely, your natural response is to want to respond rudely. Powerful truth, right? When our parents don't care for us, we don't want to care for everything else because that's what we learned. We learn to ignore and neglect. We express what we learn to ignore and neglect. Somebody treats us kindly, we want to respond in kindness. It's a powerful truth. Use kindness and a smile and how you interact with people, and the quality of your life will improve if you're not kind and loving. Powerful truth. The last one is force equals mass, how big it is, and how fast it moves. The powerful truth about that is even though you may be small, if you get enough energy and effort and speed, although speed may just be consistent effort, that's how you can accomplish tasks because you're going to develop the force of the grounded power of yourself to continue to move where you need to through distracting forces. The power of force, a person on purpose, adapting and moving and not being distracted. That's how you create abundance, right? When you apply the laws of physics to your psychology and biology, that's how you get yourself to take care of your needs and desires in the social, economic, outer habitats of your life, right? The outer habitats of your life. And you want to take care of those outer and inner habitats. Take care of everything in your life and understand the value of it. And even though it can seem overwhelming if you start thinking about it all, don't take it all, but pick one or two that are the most important, your thoughts and your body. Number one, in your relationship with people, or if you're in a world of hurt, go to work, right? And make that money and start saving it and get out of debt. Whatever it is you want to change, that's where you direct your purpose and your practice to do, right? And those are the habitats that we take care of, right? Now, last point here, actually two more. Look at this. Imagination. Think about that. If you want to study and understand life with perspectives, right? With your three perspectives, you use your imagination to see life, to imagine it like a movie screen. If something happens, you can imagine it. You can freeze frame it and back it up and move it forward. So you understand exactly what happens if you're able to acquire that information. And that's what a hit's going to give you. It's going to give you the core basics of psychology. You've heard it already. The single cell, the generation of energy, right? And then, of course, the psychology that moves around in cause and effect cycles based upon your life experience. These are the things that you can understand and adapt to, right? And imagine so that you understand, so you're inspired to do your practice, right? And of course, your imagination is how you can train yourself to be more effective each day. And very important, you want to appreciate more steps along the way. Now, a cycle of life, closing up here, the cycle of life. As a human being, we want to be aware. We're going across right here. We want to be aware of what's present and what you want. You want to create what you want with purpose and a disciplined mind to cycle what you've conditioned it to do, to be aware and adapt and carry out tasks, right? And then appreciate the fact that you're doing this. That's the most macro view. You want to be aware of what's there, aware of what you want, go create it, and appreciate the fact that you're doing it. And then a mini step within that macro perspective is move. Nurture or nutrition, the body, and then rest. That's a cycle. Move effectively, rest or assess, right? So those are the bottom three: move, effectively assess, movement, nutrition, and rest is the biology, right? So these are the three truths. I hope that they've given you information. The most important information that it needs to give you is that you can change your life with practice. Enjoy the practice. Get good at using your imagination and create affirmations that you mantra over and over and over again for the rest of your life. If nothing more, just to stop the mindless chatter. Stop the mindless chatter that's distracting you from taking care of your life, that's causing all the stress, the pain, and the negativity in your life. Condition your mind. Practice. Love the practice. When you're doing the practice, realize that that's what's going to make you healthy and happy, and associate the practice with the positive outcomes that you want. And that's what will enable you to create whatever you choose to create in your life, whatever you choose to picture, dream, and then move that way, and then keep adjusting, adapting. Trial and error is the process of creating things in your life. You may try to do something and it doesn't work, so you try something else, right? Trial and error. That's how everything on planet Earth has been created, from motors, computers, airplanes, electricity, plumbing, everything. Trial and error. That's how you change your life. Trial and error. To figure out what you want, move in that direction, keep trying more stuff until you do it, and observe how you're doing. Keep track, monitor how you're doing, right? So these are the three truths. I hope they bless your life. I hope they bless your life in a powerful way. I hope they inspire you to realize that you can create abundance. Just get off into practice and love your practice and do your practice as best you can. Best effort. Do the best practice you can, and you can change your life. You can create abundance in your life. It's possible for you. I love you. I hope you enjoyed the training here, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.